In what can only be described as a brutal and unmasking moment, Meghan Markle found herself completely out of her depth during a recent encounter with renowned humanitarian and chef José Andrés. What was supposed to be a polished interaction showcasing her influence quickly unraveled into an embarrassing spectacle, as Andrés didn't hold back in putting Meghan in her place live, before an audience that could only gasp at the sheer bluntness of his remarks. Far from the carefully scripted appearances Meghan usually engineers, this was raw, unscripted, and exposed just how shallow her supposed expertise really is. It was painfully obvious from the start that Meghan was trying to steer the meeting into her usual self-centered narrative, throwing out buzzwords without substance. Yet Andrés, known for his directness and intellect, wasn't having any of it. Instead of playing along, he pressed her with sharp, factual comments that left Meghan visibly rattled. Viewers noted her nervous laughter, awkward pauses, and complete inability to form a coherent response when confronted with straightforward truths. It was a stark contrast between someone who has genuinely built a global reputation through action and someone desperately clinging to the illusion of relevance. The roasting moment came when Meghan attempted to insert herself into a discussion about food relief programs, trying to imply she had been a key voice in humanitarian aid. José Andrés cut her down with a single pointed correction, reminding her, and everyone watching, of the actual years of work and sacrifice that had gone into building those efforts, none of which included Meghan. The sting of reality was so sharp that the room reportedly went silent, with Meghan's forced smile barely masking her humiliation. To those watching, it was undeniable. Her mask of global advocate slipped completely. This encounter highlighted what critics have said all along: Meghan thrives only in controlled environments where her every word is pre-scripted, her image carefully curated, and her narrative unchallenged. Faced with someone who speaks with authority, authenticity, and an unshakable record, she crumbled. The performance Meghan tried to give was not only unconvincing, it was laughably transparent. And Andrés, without raising his voice or showing anger, managed to expose that hollowness for the world to see. Observers have pointed out that this was more than just a clash of personalities. It was a symbolic collision between real substance and superficial showmanship. Meghan's reputation has long been inflated by carefully spun PR campaigns, but those tactics fail when she's put in front of individuals whose credibility cannot be undermined or overshadowed. The fact that she tried to lecture Andrés, a man who has literally fed millions in disaster zones worldwide, speaks volumes about her inflated sense of importance. The fallout from this moment is likely to be significant. Meghan, who thrives on being perceived as a global humanitarian figure, has now been publicly dismantled in the very arena where she tries hardest to build credibility. The contrast between her empty rhetoric and Andrés' genuine achievements could not have been sharper. For many who witnessed it, the conclusion was unavoidable. Meghan is not a leader, not an authority, and certainly not the voice she pretends to be. More importantly, this humiliation wasn't manufactured by tabloids, detractors, or palace insiders. It was delivered openly, live, and in a professional setting. That makes it impossible for Meghan's defenders to dismiss or spin. This wasn't gossip. This wasn't speculation. This was the unfiltered reality of Meghan Markle being caught out, exposed, and intellectually dwarfed. For someone who has built her entire post-royal brand on speeches, staged engagements, and soundbites designed to project power, this moment is perhaps the most damaging of her career so far. It revealed not only her lack of depth, but also the arrogance with which she assumes she can talk her way into circles of credibility. José Andrés didn't just roast Meghan, he revealed the truth many have suspected all along. Behind the glamour, the PR, and the polished photos, there's nothing of substance.